What are the main elements of a legally enforceable contract? Well, there are a few main elements that we need to cover to make it legally enforceable. And those are, first of all, the offer has to be clear. It has to be made in the proper manner, and it has to include all the appropriate details and information. There, of course, has to be the acceptance of that offer, and that acceptance must be made freely without any duress or undue forces, and it must be accepted in the proper manner. Sometimes orally may be perfectly okay. It may be just the act of carrying something out that's acceptance, or it may have to be in writing. We have to have intent. This must mean that the people getting involved in the agreement and entering into the contract intended to, that there is clear intention that both will enter into and are willing to enter into a legally binding contract. There has to be the capacity, and that's the capacity to understand what you're entering into. The capacity or ability to understand the details of the contract and what's involved in that contract. So if perhaps you are a minor, somebody under the age of 16 or 18, depending on what country you're in, or you are under the influence of drugs, or you are temporarily or permanently insane, you don't have the ability to understand what you are entering into. You don't have the capacity. So all contracts must have these. They must have consent, and that we consent to the contract and what is involved, and consideration. And in this case, we mean we have an exchange of something of value. Now, this stops things like people doing things for charity or free offers, finding themselves into some sort of legally binding contractual agreement when they're simply helping somebody out. So there must be some exchange of value between the two parties. And of course, the object of the contract must be legal. It must be something that is legally allowed. If it's not, of course, then it won't be an enforceable contract because it is illegal in the first place. And then finally, we have to have the performance, the act of carrying out the actions required in the contract. Now, that might be simply something as paying for the goods and taking them away, or it might be an act or providing a service to somebody. If an agreement does not have one or any more of these elements, it will not be a valid contract. So when we're looking at contract law and we're looking at whether a contract is a valid contract and enforceable, we first of all have to look at, does it contain all of these required elements? For example, an offer. I'll give you $20 if you clean my car. The offer contains the details, it contains the requirements, clean my car, and it contains the information regarding the exchange of something of value, $20 for a clean car. Accepting the offer, you accept and say, I'll clean your car for $20. You're not being forced to accept, and you are free of your own free will and accord to accept that offer. You understand what you are accepting and entering into. There is intent. It is meant to be. We intend on paying you the $20 and you intend on cleaning my car, so that we both know exactly what's involved. We both are above the age of 18 and we're not doing anything illegal, etc. We have the capacity to understand the process and what's involved and what's expected of us. And we agree to this contract. We're not being forced into it. The consideration is the exchange of something of value, and that's the $20 for the clean car. So as long as that takes place, the car is cleaned and you get your $20, all is fine. It's not an illegal subject, so we're okay there. And hopefully I do a good job of cleaning your car. You are happy with it and you pay out the $20. So the performance is completed and the contract is complete as well. So that's very simple main operations of the elements of a legally enforceable contract.